Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to Safari TV. We're back. And I believe it's the Easter weekend.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the Easter
We're
weekend.
excited to be with you.
Yeah. Hey, you know our topic today is?
How to prepare yourself for marriage. This is actually part 2 because we did part 1 the last time. So we're doing that today.
Yeah. Hey, we want to give a quick shout out to our big brother, Michael Ross, who got married yesterday to our his beautiful wife, our / beautiful sister now, a part of our family, Miss Ruby. They are now Mr. and Mrs. Michael Ross. The wedding, y'all, it was off the chain. I'm talking about the venue, everything was big. It was almost like a fairy tale.
Yeah,
for
it's
real.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
And our sister Ruby, she looked like an angel / queen, and Michael in his gold suit, rocking it. Gold and purple. I mean, they was doing that thing.
Yeah.
Everything, the singers, the musicians.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, the bridesmaids, the groom. It was a perfect picture, man.
It sure was.
On a Good Friday. So we sent out our shout outs and congratulations
to the newlyweds.
Hey. But hey, we get to the subject, y'all.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Renee's gonna start.
What I want to particularly focus on today is what you can do as an individual to prepare yourself for marriage. Last time we talked more about what you could do together to prepare yourselves, but this is more about what you want to do as an individual. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is number one, conquering your insecurities. Conquering your insecurities. Sometimes we have to do a self-evaluation to see if there's something that is not in place as far as how you view yourself or your self-esteem. Learning how to love yourself, and just making sure that as you prepare to become man and wife or husband and wife, whatever, that you take a look at yourselves, because sometimes as women and men too, I can say this, that there are concerns about jealousy.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think the best way to explain this. There are some people who have challenges because of past experiences that were probably very traumatic or hard for them, that they tend to not trust the individual that they're planning on marrying, or an individual that they're preparing to marry. And it's because of maybe just past incidents where the person cheated on the individual, wasn't faithful. And so there comes a time when maybe this person wants to check your phone. They want to see what's going on with your phone or who you're talking to. And so that ties into insecurities. As a woman or a man, we need to feel secure within ourselves, so that when we do join someone in marriage, that we're not carrying that baggage or that stuff around with us into your marriage, or into this relationship that you're establishing between yourself in your marriage. So just taking a look at yourself and see, am I insecure? Am I looking around? Every time I'm looking around to see if he or she is talking too long to a certain female, or flirting, or if she's giving a guy the eye or something like that. Sometimes we can be so insecure that what is a simple interaction with another person can be mistaken for something else. So just making sure that you feel confident in yourself, that you're working to be as positive as you can, loving yourself, courting yourself, getting yourself prepared to be able to be in that relationship and not carry that extra stuff in from past relationships. You got to be secure within yourself, confident. If it means working on positive confessions or whatever affirmations that you need to start doing with yourself, looking in the mirror saying, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I'm handsome, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, whatever it takes to build your self-esteem and to do things that make you ready to engage in a new, fresh relationship that can be a positive interaction. So
Okay.
that was one of the ones I wanted to start off with.
Good.
What would you like to share?
One of the major things for men, we have to learn how to not be selfish. Selfishness, put others before yourself. You have to learn how to put others before yourself.
Right, right.
You know, that's some of the downfalls, whether a man or woman.
Right.
You have to learn how to not be selfish. It's more, like I tell people, and I tell Renee during our sessions, you know, when we talk to people, marriage is more give than take.
Right.
Please understand, when you give out, please don't expect something in return. It has to be something from the heart, and then the motive of your heart
Right.
of
right.
giving. You know, those things come in perspective that you really need to consider. To take a perspective, look at yourself,
Right.
to see if you are a giver. You know, like if you are a taker, marriage ain't for you.
Right.
Let's get that straight. If you're a taker, marriage is not for you. It's more give than take, like I was saying before. You got to learn how to deal with your inner self. This comes with this P word, which I really, you know, put emphasis on. Put away your pride. You know, the Word of God says that pride is a downfall. You know, it's not nothing good in pride. You know, literally, pride has destroyed families.
Right. Right. Right.
Pride has destroyed businesses.
True. That's true.
You know, and believe it or not, pride has destroyed ministries
Yes, definitely.
and leadership. You know, those things, you have to look at those things and take those things in perspective and really do some inner core searching, soul searching within yourself before you get into this thing called marriage.
Right.
You know, those are the things that I want to emphasize on.
The theme leading into marriage is it can't be me as you're preparing. It has to be we.
Right.
We're I'm going to be working and connecting myself with another person. So just keep that in mind when Stan was touching on that about selfishness and giving of yourself, because you got to be able to give 100%. Into the relationship and not really expecting anything in return. We know we're going to get things in return,
Right.
but we shouldn't be expecting that person to complete us. I think that's the word I'm looking for. We want to come in the relationship as a whole person, a whole person, and it's important to do that. I remember I dated this guy one time, long time ago, and his thing was he felt like if we could have gotten into a relationship together, then his life would be better. But, you know, we dated, but it never went anywhere beyond that, simply because you can't find your happiness in one person. You have to be happy with yourself.
Right.
And that's an extension of what comes your way.
Right.
That wonderful person that comes your way, that you're sent, that your Heavenly Father sends to you, or that you come to know. So, you know, you have to realize you got to be a whole person yourself.
Yeah.
You got to go in, and I know something that I used to do. Stan was probably thought I was crazy. But before we got married, I would go to the movies by myself. I mean, I would learn how to enjoy my own company. I go to the movies by myself. I would go out and eat by myself. And you were saying something that you don't think you can probably do.
Yeah.
But you gotta learn how to love yourself regardless.
Yeah.
And that's in from head to toe. You know, a lot of times we're critical, whether we're male or female, about our looks, how we think we should look. We don't think we look good. My nose is too big. I'm too thin, you know, I'm not curvy enough or whatever, but we got to come to love these bodies that we've been blessed with.
Right.
And accept them. Because I had told somebody one time before, I used to think gosh, I would love to look like Halle Berry. I would love to look like Beyonce, but that's not who I was created to be. I was created to be Renee.
Amen.
And just like Stan was created to be Stan.
Right.
You know, so just remember that.
Right.
Anything you want to add for what I just said?
Yeah, and we need to emphasize that not only within marriage itself on the individual status, but we have a lot of that going in our youth today.
Yeah.
You know, beauty. You know, what they see on TV, what they see on different episodes. I'm not going to call these shows out.
Right, don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. But they look at these things and they want to become these characters, you know, but they nobody ever even try to let them know, you know, love you.
Yeah.
You know,
so
for the
important.
beauty, for the person that you are. You know, this starts not only within an adult, this starts within the womb.
Yeah.
You know, even when a child is born, you have to implant that in your child, and especially in girls, you know, with the insecurity and all this that they go through. And then, you know, they go through the peer pressure. They go through all this. Little boys do. They go through that too. But I'm saying that you need to invest in your child to be the best they can be.
Right.
You know, that's where it starts. You know, we actually invested that in our son to learn how to love who he was. You know, and I mean, you know, you couldn't shake Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Even while he was in, you know, elementary school, and he went through the situation of bullying, and you know how kids can be slightly cruel, you know, they pick on each other, but that never shook him because he was very sure within himself.
Yes, confident.
And very confident within himself that, you know, that don't move me. You know, he had really told somebody, you know, that don't move me because I know who I am and whose I am.
Yeah.
You know, he coming across like that in an elementary age.
And even in middle school,
and in
too.
middle school, you know, he's coming across like that because we taught him self-love.
Yes.
You know, learning how to love yourself, Aaron. You know, learning how to accept who you are and be the best you can be.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
and it starts from there, and then it grows within your time or period of being an adult. You know, this is where this comes from. You know, this is where this comes from, and so you have to start then. Don't wait, you know, till they old. It has to start with the mother, the father. You know, implant these seeds in your children to let them know that, you know, God created you. There's only one of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody has your blueprint. You know, you be the best you can be. It starts as a child.
And it does. And
it really does.
I just wanted to say, I have seen in situations throughout the years where parents would, you know, be very negative in their talking and speaking to the children, saying, "You're not this, you're not that, you're stupid, you can't put stuff like that out in the atmosphere and expect for good things to come back," because what ended up happening with some of those children is that they were just torn apart. They were devastated because they had no self-confidence. They didn't feel worthy. They didn't feel like they were valued. So it's so important, you know, this is like a tidbit of added information here, that it's so important that we pour into ourselves and we pour into our children positive things.
Right.
Positive things about ourselves, and learn to love ourselves regardless of how people see us, whether we're a size 30 or size 12 or size 6 or whatever size we are. And with men, whether they're extra large, triple large, whatever, we have to learn how to love ourselves and not get caught up in what society says is beautiful or what society says is acceptable. We don't have to do that, because God made us wonderfully. We have been made and crafted as beautiful beings, and it's important that we accept ourselves in that way, with love and respect for ourselves as well.
Yes.
One of the things that I wanted to add too about preparing for marriage, and let me get back on track, right, is the practice of being committed. Okay?
Yeah.
When you are dating or when you are engaged, it's important to know that if somebody else comes along and comes your way and kind of catches your eye, that you are steadfast and committed to that, to the person that you made the commitment to love, whether you're engaged or you're in a monogamous relationship, because that builds trust.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, some men or even some women, it could be having a conversation with the one they love, and all of a sudden you see somebody that you said is so fine. That thought goes through your head, and you can't entertain those thoughts because it's important to stay committed. You got to be committed to whatever relationship that you're in, because the enemy is waiting for you to trip up to get you caught up in a situation.
Right.
Don't you agree with that?
I agree.
Even like sometimes when men aren't feeling like they're being loved, or what else would you want to say about that?
Yeah, they in the situation where they don't get the love at home, they'll try to find it some other way.
Right, right.
Which is flags that should go up automatically. But we have to learn, like Renee was saying, even as men, to be committed. God is holding us accountable. First of all, when you make a proposal, even though you made this proposal, please understand this too. You have connected in with the covenant.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Even before you got to the altar, because you asked this woman, would you marry me?
Right.
So you now have made a verbal contract.
Yes.
What do that sound like?
It's a commitment.
It's a
promise,
it's
right?
a promise.
It is a covenant.
Yeah, it's a covenant. And so those things will come, and our flesh, there's no good thing. Everybody knows there's no good thing in the flesh.
Right, right.
When you see a woman come by, and I mean, I've seen men, and this is what I really hate, is when they can compliment another woman in the presence of their fiance. What's up with that? What's up with that?
So you're touching on respect?
I'm talking on respect. Yeah. Respect and commitment.
Yes.
You'll compliment a woman in front of your fiance or your wife.
And you won't give that person a compliment as well. That's something to think about.
Yeah, that's something to think about, because that's when the flag should go up. This person that obviously has a track record. I thank God I ain't got no daughters, because I'm telling you right now, somebody's going to be under the microscope. I mean, I'll be looking at your police record. I'll do a police record check and all that stuff. For real.
Yes.
These things, commitment, our word is our bond.
True. That's true.
Our word is our bond. So if you can't make a commitment even before the marriage, you might want to try to look into yourself. And then the woman look and see the signs. Open your eyes and observe the signs before you get to the altar. Those things. The commitment, your word is a commitment.
So you definitely need to, while you are dating, is just be mindful. Are there clues somewhere that's telling me maybe this isn't a good idea? Maybe I shouldn't marry this person.
Yeah.
And I can remember somebody saying years ago that they knew that God didn't mean for them to be with that person, and they ended up marrying him anyway.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't it wasn't a good situation, because it ended up being you weren't compatible. How can two walk together unless they agree with one? You got to be on the same page.
They was unequally yoked.
And so it's important that you just be mindful of those things. That I remember when I first married Stan, I thought we were so much alike. I really did. I thought that we were so much alike. So you got to be mindful, when you're looking at people and your perceptions and things like that, to know that, you're not the same person. No. You're individuals, and the purpose of being individuals, and as you come together, you complement one another.
Right.
I think, it's so important to realize that that's what happens. You complement one another. We don't complete one another. No. We complement one another, even in the way that we interact with each other.
Yeah.
So somebody comes your way, and maybe you don't talk very much, but they're very talkative and they're social, and you can learn things from that person.
Right.
So just be open-minded as you prepare to get married, and know that you're going to learn new things, but just please pay attention to signs.
Yeah. Please
pay attention to signs, like Stan was saying, that, before you get married, if they're making compliments and they're not giving you compliments, or saying how beautiful you are and how important you are, and they're not showing you respect.
Right.
Just pay attention to when those clues show up as to whether or not is this the person that I can spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
You gotta be thinking about that, because I've known people that had differences before they got married and thinking that they could handle that. They could live with the way the person was.
Right.
But if you're not able to do that, especially when it comes to your views on money, I think we talked about that before in the first one.
Right.
You may be the one that loves to spend. What is it they call? What is it? Therapy, shopping therapy, or something like that.
Go digger.
So if you're at that point in your life where you're doing it, you got to take a look and see what's going on with that. Because for some reason, maybe people grew up and they didn't have very much, and then it's a big thing for them to keep shopping or whatever. But being mindful of things within yourself, self-evaluation is so important, because one of the biggest causes of divorce can be that when it comes to finances, the money issues, you're not agreeing on what to do. So take a look at yourself, whether male, female, to see, what am I doing with my life financially? Am I running up all these credit cards? Am I spending foolishly? And because once you enter into a marriage or that covenant we're talking about, you got to be on the same page, or it could be a source of conflict constantly. So just make sure that you're preparing yourself financially. If you have problems, just try and work on them. Okay, try and work on them while you have time before you enter into the marriage.
Right?
Don't you think so?
Yeah. And this might be getting off track a little bit, but also, understand that you can't change nobody.
Yeah.
Once that you see who that person is and they let you know this is who they are, please understand, when you marry somebody and you feel like I'm going to marry them, if they marry, if I marry them and I just keep loving on them, maybe they're going to change.
No.
That's not a possibility. They're showing you at the beginning who they are.
Right.
That's who they are. And so you got to understand, are you willing to take this person and their luggage into your life? Are you willing to take that kind of risk? I say don't take that risk. Don't do it. Don't take that kind of risk, because nobody can change anybody.
Right.
And
we don't want to mislead you. None of us are perfect.
No.
We're all, working on things all the time, all within ourselves. Some people think I am not perfect. Stan can attest to that. I am not perfect. So we don't want you thinking that you got to go in and you got to be perfect and you got to know everything. But just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to know that you're going to be entering into a covenant under the same roof with somebody that you know some things about, but some things you don't really get to know about people until you're older, or you've been in a relationship a lot longer, or been married more years. There's things I learned about Stan all the time that I never knew that that existed. So don't look for the person to be perfect, and they don't have to be perfect. But you have to have the love there. You have to have the trust there. You have to have the respect there. So just take this time as you prepare to get married to make you the best person that you can be. Build yourself up. If you need to, get healthy, because I know some of us, we struggle with that too, about being more mindful about your health, because you want to be in good health when you enter into your marriage, so that you'll be able to be strong. And if you're wanting to bear children or whatever, that you're preparing yourselves, your bodies, whatever, for things to come. So it's so important to do that. Let me see. There was something else that I wanted to mention. Let me see. I was reading something and it was saying the most common problems in marriage are lack of communication, fighting, a lack of trust. We mentioned selfishness, and that was one of the ones that we talked about before. But it's important that you can trust that person. So if you're not a person that's able to trust people, that is something that you want to start working on and building sometimes we go through a lot of tragedies in our lives where people have let us down, promised us stuff and didn't come through. But at some point, you're going to have to learn how to trust each other.
Right.
You know, you're going to have to be able to do that in order to have a healthy, respectful, and long-going or enduring love relationship with a person. So just make sure that you're mindful of those things as well. And then I liked this last part. It says that the 3 most important things in marriage are respect, kindness, and teamwork.
Yeah.
You got to work together.
Oh, yeah.
You got to work together. You won't always agree. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree, and that's okay because you're different. You're 2 different individuals, but we just encourage you to take this time to prepare yourself, to get yourself to the best person that you can be, to love yourself unconditionally, build up your self-esteem, and know that the person that is for you and that's right for you, you will be able to trust them. You'll be able to respect them. You'll be able to work together, to compromise. Because I do remember, when we got married on our wedding day, they were like interviewing our parents.
Right.
You remember they were interviewing our parents, and our parents got to say some things. Do you remember something that, from the video offhand?
About where I know that, learning how to work together.
Right,
right. That was my mom's and my dad's pet peeve. That they imparted in me. They said, you got to work together in order to get, what you want in this world. You can have anything you want in this world, but you got to work together.
You got to work together.
You got to meet each other at the middle of the road. You have to work together. That's the key. That's some of the things I know they was talking about during the interview.
Yes, it was.
And not the, make sure that you get a complete understanding, even when you have a disagreement. Before you lay your head down on the pillow,
right?
Make sure that you get those things straight, because if one of you don't wake up the next day, you'll regret it the rest of your life.
Right.
Some of those communication is the key.
Exactly, and that's what I was just thinking about. It's kind of odd, but that's what I was just thinking about.
See, that's 32 years of this. Bing.
Because we touched on that a little bit the first part about communications. You gotta be able to communicate with each other. You gotta be able to do that, and you gotta be able to hear the hard stuff even before you get married, and after you get the stuff that doesn't feel good, that you really don't want to hear. And I don't know if Stan mind me sharing something, but we had been when we moved back to where we're at now, in my hometown, and we were kind of struggling because Stan was like, I don't want to be here. This is the country. I want to go back. I want to go back to, where we were. I want to be near my people in High Point. But sometimes you have to make changes and do things that are not comfortable, right?
Right.
To move forward in life, you're going to have to make some changes and be willing and open to change and have to communicate about that.
Yeah.
And so there was one point where it really got so bad that, we were like thinking about, hey, we don't know if we're going to make it.
Right.
Because it got really intense. And we were like, literally to the point where we're like, well, maybe we need to go separate ways.
Yeah.
We got to that point. But the thing that kept us together was the fact that we are friends and we have established that friendship. So I'm encouraging you, build that communication, build your friendship, because we had faith, but if we didn't have friendship, honestly, I don't believe we would have made it.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're building up relationships, your friendships with your partner.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you're doing that, because when the storms come and the winds blow and it feels like the roof is coming off the house because the tornado's coming through, you gotta have an anchor.
Yeah.
You got your faith anchoring you down, but you got to have an anchor, and that anchor can be friendship. Because one thing about it, that person, you don't ride or die, no matter what goes on.
Right.
Whatever comes our way, we're gonna stick it out.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to do that, and I'm encouraging you to do that as well.
And that's the key, Renee.
Yeah.
That's the key. We had to learn how to ride through the storm.
Yeah.
And it was rocky. It was so scary and fearful that it will make you run. You know, but you have to be still, stand your ground, and breathe. You know, before you make any kind of decisions, some hasty decision, you know, to just make any kind of crazy decision or mess up a long relationship that you have committed to each other, you have to stand still in the midst of a storm.
Yes.
And you can't run. You know, I didn't know any better. I was a little bit young, you know what I'm saying? And then I had to learn how to stand in the storm. But that came through time where I had to go like, okay, I got to stand because, you know, if anybody got my back, this woman has my back.
Yeah.
And I got, in return, she has mine. And so I got to stand as a man through this storm. And we got to stand through the storm together. My mom always taught me that, you know, she said, you got to hold on together through a storm. You can't run away from it.
Right.
And storms will come. You know, they are going to come. But they're not going to come to harm you. They come to test your faith. They really come to test you to see how strong you really are. So, yeah, those things, they're going to make you better.
Yeah.
Storms are going to make you better, but you got to stand together.
Because I got, my mind went a little whatever for a moment, but what I really wanted to touch on was the fact that we got to hear things that we don't want to hear. Stan was so upset with me. He said, I hated you. I literally hated you. I hated being here. I hated, and I was like, you know, it kind of hurt me, but I was like, I got to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we try to run away from the situation, but I got to hear it. I got to hear what he's saying. I got to listen to his heart and hear what he's saying, even though it's hard for me to do that. So just make sure, you know, there are going to be times when you're not going to want to talk about stuff. You don't want to feel what you're feeling, but it's important to just pursue, work through it and stuff. Because I was like, I knew you hated me. I knew you hated me. I knew you hated being here. I knew that there were other things that you'd rather be doing than be here, etc.
And that was coming because I was selfish. I wasn't thinking about her. I was thinking about me. You know, and that was wrong of me, you know, because as time progressed, I started liking this little country town because I started really liking it because, you know, where I had in the past, where we came from, it wasn't nothing there for me. You know, my friends changed, my friends moved, everything changed, you know, and it's nothing against them. It's just life itself.
Right.
You know, it's called seasons. People change. They call them seasons. And I had to learn how to grow up. You know, I really had to learn how to grow up and realize that, you know, really, it's not bad here. And when I went back home, I'm like, man, I don't miss this place at all. You know, because, I mean, you know, everything that we have, we're really accessible to everything 30, 40 minutes away from Raleigh.
Yeah.
You know, from big cities or whatever, we can always go there and, you know, get what we need or whatever. But really, I was more missing my friends and family. But once I realized, I'm like, man, they changed, you know, and people change and it's okay.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to accept that. And so when we did see each other, we were cool. But, you know, I like, okay, bye, y'all. I'm finna go back home.
And I think I think I had mentioned before too about before we got married. I was more like, well, you remember the character from Coming to America?
God.
Whatever you like, I like.
Yeah,
Whatever
you
like.
did. Yeah.
I was kind of like that, and so as time has passed and come full circle here, standard just that I that's not me
That
anymore.
ain't you.
I have changed and grown, and as well as he's changed and grown. So
for the good.
So we just want to encourage you, take this time while you're preparing to get married to know yourself, to learn yourself, to work on your things that you need to strengthen and build up and prepare yourself, because nobody's perfect. Your partner's not going to be perfect. Your life is not going to be perfect. The birds are not going to be singing every day, and you're not going to hear violins every time you look at each other. But just know that, you know, you will have as you develop and grow together, you will have a lasting love that can withstand the storms, right?
Amen.
Because that's really what you want.
Yeah.
You want somebody that's going to be able to stick with you through the storms.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
All right. Do we want to end that on that note? Like
Yeah, we're
that?
going to end on that note. Also, I want to let people know, hey.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
we
you.
see
but-
people popping up that are
Yay!
watching.
Hey, Keith.
Yes, and I saw
Doris and
Joyce.
Joyce. Hey.
We love you guys,
Love
and
you
we
guys.
appreciate you watching and sharing
Yeah.
this time with us. Okay?
Also look on Facebook. Calvary, the single, has
I
dropped.
see Brandy.
Yeah, hey Brandy. What's up, Mama? And Calvary has dropped on the 14th, so it's available on download on CD Baby and all media stores. So
Right.
it's a good song, especially for Resurrection of our Lord and Savior, which is the Easter, and it's just a good song all around. Calvary can be sung anytime. of the
Yes,
year.
that's true.
So make sure you go and support Safari Music. Calvary is available also on our Safari Music. We got Ezzy Wall,
Yes.
who is Antonetta Flake Wall, my niece, and it's a spoken word, y'all. It will bless you. And there are some venues, a venue that is coming up in the near future.
Title of the song.
Oh, the title of the song is called Deep Roots.
Yes.
And it's really good. My niece is so talented. I
Yes,
never
she
knew
is.
she had it
In her.
in her. But she's a woman of God. She's an evangelist. She's a prophetess. Oh, she's all that. She's still my
Yes.
baby, though. Even though she's a married woman with 3 kids, she's my little poo boo. That's my poo. But y'all check her out on the download, and I believe a venue's coming up where she's going to be on the artist showcase.
We'll have to give.
We're going to give you more information.
About
That's
that
on
later
May
on.
22nd at
Yeah.
Evangel Fellowship in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I
we'll-
believe one of my brothers, Walter Johnson, is going to be the host, but we'll give you more detail
We're
on
gonna
that
confirm the information on that.
and confirm the information so you can be there to support Antonetta
Izzy.
Wall, Deep Roots. We actually collab on that song together, and I'm so proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll let you know what's going on in the next episode of Safari TV. So, keep watching, and everybody have a great Easter.
Yes.
Remember, Christ has risen.
Yes. And
That's-
we're so excited.
And we're excited about it. Thank
and
God.
thankful.
And thankful.
Thankful to see another Easter.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
You ready to go?
All right, we're finna go, y'all, because it's getting late.
Love you guys
Love you.
much. Have
Bye-bye.
a wonderful weekend.